Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss the 1961 animated version of 101 Dalmatians. Now, before I get into this, I have seen this a long time ago and don't remember too much about it. But what do I think of it? Let's get into it, shall we? I like the opening credits as it makes me go back to my childhood of watching this movie as a kid, as I learned this is based on a book by Dottie Smith. And we start off after the opening credits in London, where we meet Roger Radcliffe, as he has a dog named Pongo, who is, of course, is a Dalmatian, as he makes music about romance, Roger does, when he never experienced it before. And I like the animation as this is from the 1960s. As Pongo narrates how he finds Roger a girlfriend who's lovely and has a Dalmatian that's a female named, or that's not really her name, but her name is like Perdita. Yeah, Perdita, excuse me. And he finds the girlfriend named Anita, and as Pongo wants to take Roger on a walk at the park and spots Anita. And the music in this is very clever as Pongo and Perdita look at each other as Pongo causes attention, and the woman named Anita leave as first as Pongo gets them together, as well as meeting Perdita, which is a nice opening to this movie as Roger and what's her name again? Oh yeah, Anita, whom gets married as Pongo marries the Perdita at the same time as they live in a home together. And Cruella de Vil comes by the house as Roger and Anita expect the puppies in 2 weeks. And yes, Perdita is pregnant. And I love the original version of Cruella de Vil as the lyrics are clever and the sound is perfect. I'll show you. Cruella de Vil. Let's move on. As Perdita is scared for her puppies, as she knows what Cruella does to Dalmatian puppies, as the story is rather graphic, but we'll get some of that later, that I can't say in a G-rated film. But it's dark. Just like the new movie looked by the trailers, as 15 Dalmatian puppies are born, which are cute looking dogs in my opinion, as I never had a Dalmatian. In fact, the only dog I've ever had was a German Shepherd. Cruella comes by and wants to take all the puppies, but Roger isn't selling a single puppy, and she walks out, and Pongo and Perdita are keeping all the puppies, and all 15 puppies and the dogs watch a TV show with a tough dog versus a horse thief. And they see a commercial with dog food, and I really like the story of this movie. We meet a couple of men working for Cruella named Jasper and Horace. As they go to the house and comes inside, rather disrupts the puppies from sleeping and kidnaps them, while Nanny, as her name, is worried about the puppies as they go to Cruella. And I'm digging this movie right off the bat. Jasper and Horace call Cruella at home as they're worried about being in the newspaper, as she calls Roger and Anita, as Pongo and Perdita calls out every dog to help find their puppies, as they alarm every single dog in London, which is a courageous thing for the dogs to look for 15 Dalmatians. And the call does get old after a while, but I get why they do it as an emergency. But the scene does go on a little too long, as a cat enters Cruella's house, as they see Cruella has 101 Dalmatians she stole, not only from Roger and Anita, but pet shops. And Pongo and Perdita get out of the house to get their puppies, as they find out they're at the DeVille house, which is north of where Roger and Anita live, as they run to the house, as they cross a river with the current. Meanwhile, Cruella arrives at the house and tells Jasper and Horace to kill them tonight, as the cat overhears and gets the dogs out of the house while Jasper and Horace are distracted by the TV watching their show. And eventually it's over as the cat is successful on getting them out of there as they run upstairs and one is caught and they all run away and are trapped while Pongo and Perdita find the Colonel before the puppies get killed and Pongo and Perdita get to the house, which is a lot of fun to see the cat rescuing the Dalmatians, while Jasper and Horace are busy with Pongo and Perdita as they get out of there and reunite with the Dalmatian puppies as they learn Cruella wants to make dog skin coats out of the Dalmatians. And Jasper and Horace arrive at a barn and they get kicked in the booty by a horse, which was funny, but that dog skin coat thing, to be honest, is very disturbing for kids. Pongo and Perdita walk on some ice as they don't want Jasper and Horace to spot them on the ice as they're still trying to find them in the snow, and Pongo and Perdita find a lassie-looking dog to get some shelter in a barn with some cows as the cows offer their milk to the puppies as they're too hungry. And I do like the cows at the barn scene as they think the puppies are darling little things, which admittedly they are. And the next day, they get back to their adventure as Cruella sees their footprints as Pongo and Perdita and the puppies get to the village as they have a ride in the van back to London as Pongo gets an idea to disguise everyone in the black ash as they pretend to be Labradors. As Jasper and Horace, spot from their disguises as they get to the van and speed it up with putting the rest of the puppies in the truck. And the idea is clever, and Jasper and Horace try to find them in the place where they were hiding as they all get in the van, and it's a clever way to escape as this movie is clever as Cruella drives into the van and chases after them as she's going crazy as she with Jasper and Horace fall into the snow together as they get back home and celebrate Christmas, and they all live as a happy family and Roger and Anita, and the climax is fun and clever at best, I'll say that much. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 7.9 out of 10. This movie is fun and clever, and it was good to get back to this movie after being a kid. I like the song that Roger made up of Cruella de Vil, as it put a smile on my face as this whole movie. The animation is good for the 1960s, and it is a great watch after all these years. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with the 1996 remake of 101 Dalmatians. And until next time, Cruella de Vil.